What's up guys, it's Tube and welcome to a Pokemon BDSP / Legends video. Now, it's been a while since we looked at leaks, but the leaks have returned. Well, the leaks haven't stopped coming, I just stopped covering them because we know they're all fake. But now, there's a questionable piece of leakage going on the internet. Okay, before we get into leaks, let's look at some stuff that have just surfaced on the internet. First off, Legends Arceus. Here's a screenshot where we're versing Mai, one of the wardens, the girl with the munchlax. I think she's the one who has the word ear. We haven't really seen a trainer battle yet. All we've seen is us fighting wild Pokemon and then the boss. Nice to see trainer battles are here. I don't know how she has 6 Pokemon, but she's only level 10. Does that rally your juices up? Oh yeah, something interesting you pointed out. Now let's move on to the leakage. Now, if you remember our old friends, Centro leaks. You know, it's been a while since we had a situation like this. Do you guys remember the Riddler in Sun and Moon days? One of the funnest times? The X and Y leaker? Was there an X and Y leaker? No, I'm screwing up. Yeah, there was an X and Y leaker. He said there were 2 Mewtwo forms so early on, but it sounds like the most horse crap ever. Freaking 2 new Mewtwo forms? Yeah, get out of here. Anyhow, Centro Leaks is posting this riddle. This is for BDSP and Legends Arceus, and people have already tried decoding this, so I'll get to the coding, but first we got to give you a rundown on Centro Leaks. Centro Leaks is a source that posts real leaks, but sometimes, and other times, as we've made fun of them, they've posted an Animal Crossing screenshot as a potential BDSP leak, which just shows that they don't actually have the leaker amongst themselves. They have a different connect that's the real leaker that they copy the information from. Like, I could freaking run Central Leaks, but this time they're so confident about what they posted here, it's worth showing you this. So this is what they posted. I mean, it looks pathetic. You got a baby with the muscle, okay? We got a ghost with some robes, okay? We got a moon and a butterfly, okay? So these are supposed to represent 3 Pokemon, obviously, for Pokemon BDSP / Legends Arceus. Let's just say it's Legends Arceus, and then the Pokemon will be carried over to BDSP. Along with these 3 beautiful emote groups, they posted SE, PDP, D22. You'll understand everything soon. What badassery, bro. These guys are so cool. Could you imagine him typing this sub? You'll understand everything soon. Enter. I'm the freaking Joker. I'm a mastermind. Okay, so SE, who knows? Platinum, Diamond, and Pearl. D22, it's a hard thing to decode. There's some people who've tried to decode this. Here's Belcard28 who says, the first icon, maybe Tyrog will have a new evolution. We already seen him in the dark figure climbing a mountain. Okay, her wording is a bit weird, but what they mean by this is this weird silhouette. They showed us riding Pokemon, and they showed that silhouette, which turned out to be Cleaver. So here are all the silhouettes we've seen in Legends Arceus. Here's the first one, and this was all the way back in February, which we now know is probably Wordeer. Then there's this one, who should be the Hisuian Braviary, but there's this one here, a bit of a ponytail action. They're saying this might be the Tyrog evolution. And if I'm honest, I'm freaking all for a 4th Tyrog evolution. That sounds pretty cool. It's nice that they're giving the most random Pokemon these revisits, like Braviary, freaking Stantler. Who even remembers Stantler? It makes the world feel more real. You know, there's a different evolution for Tyrog in these days. This game is bringing a different vibe, and it's cool the different evolutions they're giving. So they're saying that that could be the Tyrog evolution, and you can kind of envision it, a whole different looking Tyrog. Another theory I've seen for the silhouette Pokemon is this right here, and it's pretty cool. You know, we have Mr. Mime, who evolves from Mime Jr. Mime Jr. does not say Mr. and Mrs. in the name. So how cool would it be if it had like a freaking Miss evolution? And here's one here, Miss Climb. You know, Mr. Mime, Miss Climb. It works. And she looked like this. She like the little spring lady, and this is her right here. Now this is fan art. This is not what it is, but this would be really cool. I'd be down for this type of Mr. Mime evolution, or Mr. Mime freaking sister. And it's what? Psychic and fighting? We had freaking Gardevoir, who's Psychic Fairy, and then Gallade, who's Psychic Fighting. So it'd be the same thing here. Maybe she should be Fighting Fairy. Who knows? But I'd be down for this. Miss Climb. Okay, back to what we were saying. The second the kimono and the ghost. Frostlass maybe will have an Hisuian form. Maybe the kimono and the type will be different. Okay, easy. So a Hisuian Frostlass. So far, we don't know if Hisuians actually evolve from the previous actual form. So if Stantler evolves into Wordeer, or if it's a Hisuian Stantler that evolves into Wordeer. But it can split 2 ways. Because Hisuian Stantler is normal psychic, it kind of looks like it could actually evolve. But it's kind of weird to think that this Pokemon could only evolve in ancient times. It'd make more sense if Stantler looked different in ancient times, and that's the Stantler that could evolve, and this Stantler, which is evolved to look like this, no longer evolves like that. And the other thing is Pokemon tries to do continuity, so when Lanoon got an evolution, previously we couldn't use like the Eviolite on Lanoon, it wouldn't work. So to not make it suddenly work, they made a different Lanoon and made that evolve, so that you still can't Eviolite this Lanoon. To say that you can now Eviolite this Stantler and now Basculin would be kind of weird. Not to us, just to Pokemon's weirdness. That's the other thing, freaking Basculegion's Basculin should probably be a Hisuian Basculin, but even though this freaking Basculegion looks like it evolves from the Unova Basculin, we gotta see. We already have some flat out new Hisuian Pokemon like Growlithe, who isn't an Arcanine that evolves from the normal Growlithe, so we'll see how it goes. Either Hisuian only evolution to Snorunt? Nah, that doesn't work. Like Pikachu, I understand you can evolve into normal Raichu, Cantonian, or you bring it to Alola and it specially evolves into Alolan Raichu. But with a Pokemon like Snorunt, it's just too broad. It already evolves into Galarian Frostlass. To say you could take it somewhere else and it'd be a different Frostlass, while it makes sense and could happen, it feels too disorganized for Pokemon. They'd probably just make a flat out new Snorunt. Kinda gives me Eevee vibes. You just take this Snorunt to different regions and it has all these different evolutions. And the last one, the butterfly at the full moon. Her theory is a Hisuian Wurmple. The theory is that it's a butterfly, it's at night, so it's the night version of a butterfly, a moth, and that it's maybe Hisuian Dustox. I don't know how you would get Hisuian Dustox specifically, and not like the freaking Beautyfly, but there we go, that's one person's theory. Let's look at another. Could Frostlass be the last noble Pokemon, or a new evolution or form for her in Legends Arceus? Yeah, a Frostlass as one of those, that could work. You know, I'd be down to see the cleaver treatment for a Pokemon like Frostlass. It's just like, I guess I want a third evolution for Snorunt. You know, what this could also mean is maybe this isn't talking specifically about Pokemon we already know. Maybe it's just describing Pokemon that could come out. So while this does feel like Frostlass, maybe it's just talking about some evolution for a certain Pokemon. Let's say Jinx. Maybe Jinx gets this Ghost-ass evolution, you know? Considering they're approaching some lesser appreciated Pokemon, let's put Burmy on the table. Maybe this is talking about Mothim and Warmadam. Maybe there's a new evolution for those. Or it could be talking about Frosmoth. We just got Frosmoth. Frosmoth would be speedrunning for the fastest regional form. Just freaking explain. Don't be cryptic for no reason. This is Central Leaks reading this. I just want to remind you guys, this is Central Leaks. Here's another approach. The first one, Kangaskhan. That's pretty good. A lot of people are saying Tyrogue. It just fits so well, baby and muscle. But Kangaskhan's a cool one. Maybe a regional Kangaskhan where the baby is freaking doing something. Maybe only exclusively in Hisui can you find baby Kangaskhan, and they doing some next crap. And then as time passed, the Kangaskhan's never leave their babies again, and so they evolved differently. But back then, you got a different type of Kangaskhan. Could be new evolutions? Nope. Okay, here's a theory for one thing. Sometimes Pokemon does this thing where they just like to throw a pointless hint for the future. When we saw Clara, the freaking ribbons on her head are literally Dustox patterns. But it turns out, no matter how much we speculated whether she'd have a Galarian Dustox, that it never came to be. Maybe it was just hinting, by pure coincidence, that there is a Dustox that looks like this in the next game. Doesn't entirely make sense, but here's a Dustox that kind of looks like it. And here's one last cool idea. I really want this to be a hint for some starter Pokemon or something. So one idea going on is that maybe the starter Pokemon, considering we're in ancient times, are going to evolve differently in the Hisui region, which means we might be getting a different Typhlosion, a different Samurott, and a different Decidueye. This is mega wishful thinking. We've never had this happen to a starter Pokemon where the starter itself is going to have a different evolution, but it'd be really cool if it did. Obviously, these don't look like what Typhlosion, Decidueye, and Samurott would be about. So, with people thinking it's a Frostlass evolution, I think it goes back to what I was saying before. I don't know if they have it in them to take a Pokemon that's fully evolved and evolve it further. Scyther was not fully evolved, so they gave it a branch evolution. To say Frostlass now evolves again, I don't think it's something they do. Oh, here's a good one. Hoping for a fairy Venomoth. No one has mentioned Venomoth yet. A Hisuian Venomoth? That's part fairy? There we go. That's a good one. Another theory is a regional Gallade. It do be built slim in the legs like a Gallade. There's some Pokemon you just know it can't be. They're not gonna make a new curly evolution for a Pokemon that already branches out into two. Bro, they can. I'm just saying it's not likely. Well, I think we've covered everything. I'm gonna leave you with one more thing Central Leaks tweeted out, and it's this. 2022 will be very exciting too for Pokemon fans. Even more than 2021 if nothing gets delayed. What what could they be implying? 2022 has Legends Arceus in January, but what else happens later in the year? What a mystery. It's very possible there is going to be something later on in 2022 because Legends Arceus could just come out in November. They don't have to make it come out in January. Kind of feels like they're just tossing the game for free. Either they're tossing Legends away for free or they're tossing BDSP away for free. And it's obviously BDSP, despite November being the major month to sell games. So it's weird that January is when Legends come out. It seems like maybe they got something else planned for 2022, or by this they just mean they're talking about Legends and the new hints they tweeted out. And then the last thing this means is that this is Centro leaks. So don't even buy this. This is just fun stuff to talk about and speculate while we're in the midst of a drought ass, probably the most resident sleeper hype season ever. Just get this in your mind, get your juices flowing in your head, and then we'll see what happens in the last 2 months. Shank that like button, don't let the Central leaks bite. Don't trust any of the leaks we just talked about in this video, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.
This the sound of my alchemy, the greatest success for all those who fell for me. I always respect the friends who wish well for me and live until the end and die. All time will tell for me, but I ain't going anywhere, believe me.